Andrew Callaway in form on goods. We're ready to start though. It's Richmond and Sydney from Colonial Stadium. Ottens and Stafford, they nullified each other, didn't they? Trying to get the moving. Saddington, the Swans, good advancing down the ground. Long kick, McPherson, long kick. It's a great start. Well, that is as quick as you can possibly get out of the middle. Sensational start.
Yes, it was a great conversion. It was a steal from Wayne Campbell. He was the one that got the first touch, but there he is already. Saddington having an impact coming off the wing. What a tall wingman he is. He's got to stand 6'3" in the old language, and Hutto, you can convert that being a child of the new millennium. But that is just an outstanding start to the match.
Great kick by Daniel McPherson. Go, Richard.
I was going to say, Rob, it could in fact be a Colonial Stadium record. 13 seconds to kick that goal. Fantastic start to the Swans.
Yes, it certainly was. And I think it was young Ben Matthews that might have been involved with the Wayne Campbell dispossession that led to McPherson's opportunity. Young Doyle in the foreground there with Andrew Dunkley. Andrew Dunkley coming back into the Swans lineup today and starting on the bench along with the other inclusion, John Stevens. A very desperate attempt by Campbell, got it out to Tivendale. Now Bowden with time to steady and then gets under it a little bit, but still gets good distance into the forward pocket. The mark is taken by Holland.
This is where they've got a bit of an advantage, I think, the Tigers. They have got 3 or 4 players capable of taking marks deep in the attack.
Short kick and improves the angle for Wayne Campbell. Similar distance, maybe a little further away than Ben Holland was when he took the mark, but certainly an opportunity for Richmond to answer quickly. The goal coming in the first 15 seconds of the match to the Swans off the boot of Daniel McPherson.
Darren Creswell's running with Matthew Knights, but Nick Daffy's trying to get on to Darren Creswell. So it's a bit of a 2-on-1 scenario at the moment.
Campbell from 50 metres, a bit of a stab at it. Got the distance though and the accuracy. Tigers answer.
Yeah, good reply there from Wayne Campbell. He's had a good start to the game. He's been in and under a couple of times, and well, if you get score on the board as a midfielder, it makes your game that more invaluable. Here it is, Troy Luff up against the big fellow Holland, who had to sit on him, and he just needed to come back a little bit more strongly, did Troy. But this is a great start, and hopefully she'll go goal for goal, Robbo, for the right up to the end of the match.
My word.
So a goal each, and the crowd really building. It's a good crowd, and they're very noisy. Otten's getting the Tigers' first use out of the middle, getting back onto it. Crouch has the time to go wide.
Swan down in the guts.
Yeah,
that is the middle.
McPherson gets to half forward. Kelly in front. Burke made the spoil through the legs. Knights, was he pushed in the back? No. Callaway gets Burke. Quick kick onto the wing. Couple of Tigers there. Chaffey.
Matthew Nick's in trouble, I think.
Chaffey kicks to half forward. Gale, Shawball over the top in game 100. Makes the spoil and the ball out of bounds.
Didn't quite see what happened to him, but when the ball went forward for the Tigers, he came off second best, Matthew Nicks, and the medical staff, under instruction from the coaching staff, quickly Matthew Nicks to the interchange bench, and he'll be replaced by John Stevens.
Ahmad over the top, and the ball to be bounced straight away. Rogers playing in the goal square at the moment for the Tigers, down there with Ben Holland, who's opposed to, as we've already seen, by Troy Luff. Swans at the moment have one extra man back in defence, just away to the right from this ball up that we're seeing, slightly into the Tigers' attack. Gale and Stafford. Swash well wrapped up, and we'll go again.
Hutto, we did have a change in the game, and it was nothing to do with the players. Darren Goldspink couldn't take his place. His position as an umpire was taken by Stephen McBurney, and he, with Brett Allen and Mark McKenzie, are officiating in this match.
And there you saw some of the nonsense that's going on in the middle with players trying to just get the match up they've been allocated.
Armat, good collection of the football. Cameron nearly run down by Armat. Got the handball to Burke, in turn Broderick. Campbell, back to Tawney. Tawney from left half back for the Tigers. Gets good distance, up to the forward 50. Mark not paid to Seymour, hit the ground. Now it's been paid. What was that for in the finish? You wonder.
Paid the mark.
Paid the mark. 3 or 4 grabs at it, and he plays on quickly. Got the ball out to Fosdyke. Fosdyke to Maxfield. Maxfield, we remember, played his 200th game a couple of weeks ago. and he has been terrific since crossing from the Tigers to play with the Swans.
And good athleticism there by Adam Goods. He's given 3 or 4 leads and finally he was rewarded.
McPherson as the Swans finally move into attack. O'Loughlin is lurking. Gaspar over the top, pushing down. That is Schauble. Had to have a couple of looks at it because the last time I saw him a moment ago, he was back at centre half back. But that is a great effort to run down and take that mark.
Well, they've been ecstatic in Sydney with this guy's performance this season. He was a recruit last year that wasn't tailed. It was, in fact, it was, I guess, met with a fair bit of scorn. But Andrew Schauble has been quite a star for them, and he's taken a lot of contested marks this season. In fact, 24.
Well, I don't think anyone doubted his potential at Collingwood, but certainly over a lot of seasons he didn't perform as they would have liked. But he's having a great season and he kicks the goal. So the Swans and the Tigers both on the board. The Swans with 2 and the Tigers with 1. And it's a pretty good game to watch at this stage, Jerry.
Yes, quick and fast, Hutto, and well, plenty of skills on display. Andrew Schauble, according to a couple of spies up in Sydney, if they counted their best and fairest, he'd be number 1. Perhaps with closely contested with Michael O'Loughlin and the likes of Creswell and Swass. But we may be able to find out what happened exactly to Matthew Nix. There he is, 3 back, and he copped a nice whack from his own teammate Brad Seymour. Down he went.
So 2 goals to 1, Sydney lead. Stafford up high, Daffy gathers, couldn't break away, and a real congestion there at the centre bounce.
Stafford clearly won the tap, but it was well sharked and read by Wayne Campbell. And well, there it is, Matthew Nix. He's just being checked for perhaps a broken jaw.
You wouldn't believe it, would you? You know, early in the match and coming
Your own
at the
teammate.
hands of your teammate. Bad luck for Matthew Nix because he's been pretty good for the Swans. Crouch did well, got the ball out to Goods. Goods is 60 metres from goal for Sydney. Kicks across the half-forward line. Stafford is the target. Up over the top was Burke, couldn't take it. So now there's a contest well within scoring range for Sydney, and the umpire will call for a bounce.
Jeez, I thought David Burke was very stiff not to be paid that mark. He looked as if he controlled it. Here he comes across the back. In fact, it wasn't Burke, it was Ottens.
And because it was his teammate, I guess that is why the umpire didn't award the mark. From the resultant bounce, the umpire just chips in again and will bounce about 40 metres from the Swans' goal. They've kicked 2. Richmond have kicked 1. McPherson and Schauble, the goal kickers for Sydney. Campbell has kicked a goal for Richmond.
Plenty of players around the ball as Ottens wins it out. The Swans building again on the end of it. Maxfield just started it far too far to the left.
Probably one more stride, Jared, he could afford himself, couldn't he? Maybe to straighten up a little further.
Well, you saw Fosdyke there just shoveling the ball out to McPherson, and not a lot of pressure on Stewie Maxfield. He could well have squared it to the top of the square, or in fact buried the goal.
McPherson's had a fair bit of it already. 5 possessions as the Tigers get it to Bowden. Still inside defensive 50. Now going through the spine. Tawney. Oh, he took the mark and he just had time to get rid of it. Long kick. Knight has got rid of Creswell. Takes the mark. Creswell just slipped over. We saw a bit of that last night. The ground's a lot more lush now than it was early in the year. Long kick from Knight. Good position to mark. Holland. Good strong effort, but didn't take it. Schauble, you'd think, would concede. He almost threw that. He almost threw that. That's what the Tiger fans thought. Umpire disagreeing.
Bit of a problem for Troy Luff. I'll just have a look at this to see whether he got in his hand or fist onto it.
Scoop, wasn't it?
Looked like 3/4 of a throw to me.
Oh, I'd say 100% throw, Jared. Don't sit on the fence. That was ridiculous.
Only 3/4.
Oh, it's a shocking decision.
What a great kick in though to Saddington, and the Swans able to move it forward.
Very skillful. Jason Saddington to Stevens. Quickly on. Well done. Matthews providing running support from the half-back line. Great pass. Oh, chipping in and punching the ball away was Tawney. Desperate stuff by the Tigers between half-back and full-back. Great effort, wasn't it? Always going to be crunched. Got up quickly, though. Boundary throw in. Right forward pocket, well within scoring range for the Swans. Gaspar got the ball out wide to Chaffey. Nearly run down by O'Loughlin. took the full time and distance to get rid of the ball all the way up to left half forward for the Tigers, but it's Maxfield handballing in towards Seymour. Wider still, chance for Fosdyke. He's had 2 or 3 possessions. Out wide McPherson, the early goal kicker, into the pocket. Goods streaming towards goal goes Adam Goods, and it's a mongrel old punt kick, one of those wormer bangers, Gerard. It just went through the air very, very ordinarily and hit the behind post, I thought.
Have been in vogue, the wormer banger, in the last couple of weeks, Robbo, and that one was a classic. And I think Jason Saddington a little bit disappointed he wasn't spotted 30 metres out in front of goal.
Tigers started the game with Vardy, Dragosevic, Harrison and Hilton. But here's a goal to Fosdyke. Swans have got their third.
Adam Goods there.
Geez, Fosdyke.
By Adam Goods.
Good start
Fosdyke,
too.
well, Rodney Eade is a huge rap for this kid, Fosdyke. And he hasn't let him down early in this match, but have a look at the hands of Adam Goods. Quick hands through the gap there, found a keyhole, an opportunity, bang, through it went, and a change to the Tigers. Rory Hilton coming onto the ground, and disappearing was Jason Tawney.
Jason Tawney comes off, and Rory Hilton on. For the Swans, terrific start, leading by 2 now.
Tawney may have done a hamstring, Hutto.
Out of the middle, well, I think you'd probably give it to the Swans for the tap. To Stafford, Saddington on the end of the handball, gets it to half forward, pushing back Fosdyke. Too much height that time there on Cameron. Only the second time in the match he's got hand to ball.
It's a great start by the Swans, and quite clearly if the Tigers are going to make this finals, they're going to have to work at it.
Saddington, a good spoil on Ottens. Tigers trying to use their extra height there. And Gale and Ottens continue to rotate and push around. Gale coming up from the forward line to take any throw-in that's on the wing and pushing Ottens back into defence to give them the extra number.
Wayne Campbell pushing hard, just trying to keep body contact with Wayne Swass. There he is. And picked the free kick out.
Actually, pretty good decision, I thought, Gerard.
Kelly quick to get it moving, sets it up for Goods, tough one, good contest. Goods in the front, Hilton came through, they left it behind. John Stevens off his wrong boot, not a bad looking wobbly one. But just away to the right. Gee, that would have given them a 3-goal advantage and really put the wind up the Tigers.
That problem area for Jason Tawney, actually working on his lower backside, suggests it's lower back pain going into his right hamstring.
All right, thanks, Richard. He's down on the boundary line and laying prostrate on his stomach.
Look out.
Oh, ordinary kick. Set it up for the Swans. Armat. Hand pass was probably not necessary. They're going to be dispossessed here. Campbell. And back into the fray, Tivendale. Armat for the Swans. Kicks it forward. Mark taken by David Burke away from Stafford. Burke has got Bitterscombe, but he decides to go to the middle to Callaway. Callaway takes the mark. Then nearly gave the hand pass off. In the finish did to Daffy. Daffy, a right foot kick towards half forward. Ball spills to the back. Well read by Chaffee. Gee, that oval ball, it's deceptive, isn't it? But he was able to gather to Bitterscombe. Bitterscombe to the front of the goals. High mark required. Spills to the ground. Gathered by Luff. In turns Schauble, who has already kicked a goal for the Swans. A kick short. Goods, close to the boundary line, goes out towards Armat, spills to the back. Gee, was advantage then, but the umpire has deemed that ball went over. It looked as though it was always in the field of play as we watched Joel Bowden and Robbie Armat. Now, did that go over? Again, you wonder.
We are a long way away from it, Robbo. Armat, Broderick, and we'll have a bounce. 20 Sydney, Richmond 7. Where do you think the Swans have got the edge at the moment, Gerard?
Oh, I think they're just winning more loose ball, Hutto. They're getting some quick exits out of the centre and they're getting the ball into an open forward line. They've been able to get away with having Andrew Schauble as a loose man across defence, which is a bit different to the Bulldogs, who had 15 loose men across defence last night.
Matthews getting the ball quickly moving. Saddington, was that one out on the full? Yes, it was.
He's made a couple of good decisions out there, that boundary umpire, hasn't he?
They've been tight. Bitterscombe been one of the real finds for the Tigers this year. Daffy just able to keep the footing.
I heard on the radio last night quite a few players slipping over in the Essendon Bulldogs match here.
Yeah, certainly they were. Tivendale He gets clear and might be able to unload a big one right to the edge. Rogers will stay down at the back. Gale, no mark. Swans wrap it up and concede. Tigers claim the mark there. We'll get another look at it. There you go, right in the middle of it.
Gee, there's some games played there between those two, isn't there? Dale Lewis and Andrew Dunkley warming the bench for the Swans. Cresswell marks the kick in. Still well inside his defensive 50. Goes across the line. It's taken here by the 250 gamer, Wayne Schwass. Kick off his right, out in the direction of Goods. He has Callaway, and Callaway quite prepared there to concede a boundary throw-in. Swans by 2 goals, and that certainly looks like the right hamstring being strapped up there, Jason Tawney. Ottens and Stafford up over the top. Bowden gathers, handball away, Daffy. Pretty good set play there from the boundary throw-in for the Tigers. Kick forward, no mark taken. Spillage at the front. Well done, Knights.
Gale's a danger man.
A receive from Zantuck. The kick into the pocket has been taken by Rogers. All the boys down there for the Tigers. He plays on and he kicks a behind.
Rogers, boys had the right idea there, but he just rushed it. You've got full control when you've got that ball. There was no need for him to rush it. He just should have taken his time. He had the right idea to go across his left shoulder, but just needed to take that a little bit more time.
So the short kick in from Maxfield has found Luff.
Luff can take it outside 50. Still some space and a couple of teammates in front of him to carry it. It's the next kick that the problem comes. So he doesn't kick it instead. He goes by hand. At half forward, the target is Goods, who just gave a little shove to Callaway. Schwass trying to get it up the pack. He's trying. He's going to run into numbers. Good hands. Goods run down this time. Got the tap away. Kelly tried to find his way through. Couldn't. Daffy under pressure. Fosdyke, good tackling, but Gasper and the numbers with the Tigers. Hilton out wide to half back, and Chappie thought about running on, but O'Loughlin bearing down. Ottens at half forward was a target, but he had no other little options in, so he has to go long to that contest. Ottens and Schauble. Good spoil away. Swans was sitting there for Seymour, but he didn't particularly want it. Rogers takes it away, but he just kicked blindly. And the Swans with an extra man or two back. Luff taking the mark and quickly gets it out, and Fosdyke takes it.
Gee, Brad Ottens was terrific with his second effort down here in front of us to try and just milk a chance for the Tigers.
Yeah.
Kick forward, eventually knocked away by Leon Cameron. Good disciplined play by the defender. Cresswell appealing for the free kick. Umpire gives the all clear for a boundary throw-in. 20 plays 9 and 8 minutes left in the first term. Dee Frawley, first-year coach, doing a very, very good job controlling the young Tigers. Their efforts here today pretty much on the line for season 2000. They play the Blues next week, but if they can get away with this, you'd reckon they might be safe in their place in the 8. Armac, Maxfield, running goal. Up to O'Loughlin. Gasper, desperate. Darren Gasper, was that a throw? Yes, right in front of the umpire.
Well, that is unbelievable from a player so experienced. It was a goal that should have come from, I think, a mark to O'Loughlin, but he just didn't quite work it through. But you have a look at this, it was a great spoil, and that is just a genuine throw, Robbo.
Yes. No question whatsoever, and it was great that the umpire was in a terrific position, and that's the good thing about the 3 umpire system. And O'Loughlin, as a result, gets the goal. So the 4th goal on the scoreboard for the Swans. They've kicked 4-2. Richmond are 1-3.
Well, once again, I thought that Mick O'Loughlin was in the position to grab that, but excellent defence there by Darren Gasper until he tried to impersonate Wally Lewis or someone else from the game of
Laurie Daly,
Northern States.
Sydney 4-2-26, Richmond 1-3-9. Rodney Eade doing a good job so far. This time Gale putting the advantage of Chaffee and support Hilton, but doesn't get it. Kelly into the middle, couldn't take it with him. Stafford barges through, finds a way through for the Swans. Inside 50 into their danger area. Ahmed throws his body on the line. Great stuff. And a bounce the result.
Been hard at it in the middle, the Swans. They've really led the charge in there. They just look, Robbo, just a shade sharper right across the ground.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Centre bounce clearances at this stage are 0-3.
Is reflected on the scoreboard. They lead by 17.
Stafford got his hands onto it. McPherson, yes, did well. Delayed it, got it to Stevens. Down to full forward. Goods working really hard. Swass will try and turn onto his... Oh, he didn't turn onto his left. He handballed it inboard. Saddington, standing start. Doesn't get enough onto it into the square. Goods. She's been prominent so far. Hasn't always taken the mark cleanly, but she's been involved in the ball out of bounds. 6 possessions and 2 marks for Adam Goods so far.
Now, Statsman has just clarified there's been a couple of neutral centre clearances, which means that the tally won't add up to the amount of goals that have been kicked +1 for the start.
Swans with much more of the football. Broderick tried to break away. Chaffee helps out. Kicks short. Good mark. No, not paid to Hilton. 57 touches to Sydney. 44 to the Tigers. 10 tackles for Sydney. 5 for Richmond.
Timerdale's moved on to Swass and Wayne Campbell has pushed forward.
Goods doing the ruck work in the forward pocket. The youngster up against the veteran in Brendan Gale. Trying to swoop onto it was O'Loughlin. Got it out into the clear. Matthews, Maxfield run down by Daffy. Handball, spills. Saddington again, Daffy to run away. Kick across his left shoulder, not bad either. Out into the path of Andrew Callaway's 1-on-4 and he goes for the line. And probably Richmond would be fairly happy as Rogers tries to disguise the knock-on, but Richmond probably reasonably satisfied with that clearance from the full-back line. They've got the ball all the way up to their right half forward area, still about 85 to 90 metres around from their goal, but in the forward half for the Tigers.
And Wayne Swass has now been told to go to full forward. He's got that new man in Timerdale, as we said, and he's alone in the goal square.
Stafford just used his experience there, got it to ground. Kelly, well wrapped up. And we'll go again. 4-2-26 the Swans. 1-3-9 the Tigers.
Geez, they've got a quick moving forward line, the Swans. They've got Ahmed, O'Loughlin, Fosdyke, Adam Goods and Wayne Swass.
So at the moment the ball on half forward for the Tigers. Bowden, well tackled, just got rid of it in time. Kelly, the strength and desperation on show there. Good, brilliant hands again. Superb stuff. Releasing Creswell. Options galore. Put it up high. Swass. And that is why Rodney Eade put him forward, I guess. He can quickly swing it away. O'Loughlin, Gaspard just doesn't get there in time. O'Loughlin takes the mark.
Probably not a lot gained for the risk in this kick. Michael O'Loughlin is a good shot at goal, but so too is Wayne Swass. But Adam Goods once again just had extra pace up on that forward line. The disputed ball, the 1 against 2.
Yep.
And the pace is really worrying the Tigers at the moment.
So Michael O'Loughlin, so far, just the 1 mark, 1 kick and 1 handball, but he's already put 1 goal through. Well, let's see if he can kick another. Pretty good contact. Sweet. Great kick. Swans are on fire.
Do they have a realistic chance? I mean, they've got to hope. They've got to win both their matches today and against Geelong next week at Shell Stadium,
and they've got to hope
rely
that
on
Richmond losing both of theirs.
And percentages, maybe they're a little bit better.
No,
than
they're well ahead of Richmond.
Right,
so this is a final for the Tigers as much as it is for the Swans.
Yep.
They face the Blues next week, which is a game they wouldn't be favoured to win.
Well, Rodney Eade, he looks in total control. The scoreboard, 5-2 to 1-3. 23 points they've got out of the blocks, haven't they? The Swans. Ball comes back to Hilton. Missed his target by a big margin, which was Leon Cameron. He hesitated ever so slightly. Now Callaway, left foot kick, not bad. Broderick swoops on it, tries to get past. Got the handball back. Maybe a little fortunate here, the Tigers. Campbell gathers and then kicks to within scoring distance. Up there at full forward, the ball spills to the back. Holland confronted. After the football is Zantuck. Just got his foot to it and it trundles over for a boundary throw in right forward pocket. No, that young fella's father very well. Ty Zantuck, his father played with 3 clubs, Melbourne, North Melbourne, the Swans.
Spot on, Robbo. I played a number of games with Shane, and he's a very passionate football supporter and follower now.
Paul Broderick in that forward pocket for Richmond, not able to control the ball, eventually spills away from the players in that right forward pocket, and the boundary umpire to throw it in about 25 metres around.
Shane, of course, married Carmen, who was Arnold Brightus' sister, so a fair pedigree there when you've got Arnold, a dual premiership player, and Shane, a great player of over 200 games.
And if I just might add, a couple of little larrikins in their own way. There's Johnny Worsfold and Ross Lyon.
Big larrikins, I would have thought, Robert.
Well, they might be watching. They might be watching from somewhere, Gerard, so we're going to be a little careful.
Yes.
Altons and Stafford. See them bustling. The umpire saw something off the ball, just slightly. Daffy to take it quickly into the square. Holland down there. Chaffee waits down. The spoil was about 4 Swans players up to make the spoil. Swass, just casually takes it over.
Well, I reckon he played that all right, Hutto. I think he saw the ball running away from the points, right? So he hasn't conceded. It's gone out of bounds. You wonder whether it's right or wrong. We'll tell from this boundary throw-in.
Speaking about congestion in defence, the Swans are really, I guess, doing it as well as anybody at the moment.
Chance for Chaffee, just couldn't take it. Shawball almost just hacked that away. Chaffee again, trying to get it back into a position where there might be some space and a chance for someone to have a shot.
No player in the Swans half of the ground at the moment. In fact, Gasper is now 1 metre across the centre line. And what we saw last night is what has grown and grown in the game since Rodney Eade got the Swans through to a grand final in 1996, based primarily on what was a new tactic, and that was flooding the defence.
Brilliant work from Burke to get it into the square.
It was so hard. Well
and there's that height that we talked about, I think, in the first minute of the game, or first couple of minutes of the game, when Holland outmarked Troy Luff. And he used it to perfection there. Good judgment too, but great work, as we said, to get it out from that boundary throw-in.
Exciting, wasn't it, to watch a youngster come up over the top from the boundary throw-in. David Burke, well done.
Well, this is a desperate goal needed for the Tigers, just to get them back in the game, really. The Swans have dominated in pretty much all aspects. As Holland sends it through for his first. So 5-2-32, plays 2-3-15.
Well, in such a congested forward line, it's the big blokes that can still do the damage, because a pack is still a pack no matter how many people are around there, and you just need someone to be able to grab it. And here's David Burke, the stuff you're talking about, Hutto. He did it well. He's come down following Paul Kelly. He set that goal up to young Ben Holland.
25-minute gap between the first goal for the Tigers and that their second, but they'll go surging forward once again. Nick Daffy, after receiving from Knights, punched away on that last line of defence by Rowan Wharf. He goes after it again, and eventually the ball spilling over for a boundary throw-in just forward of centre wing. And a couple of our earnest cameramen down there on the boundary line nearly run over by the players as the ball came in that area.
Terrific defensive effort there by Wharf, who's done well on Rogers, who's been a danger man for the Tigers all season.
Tivendale can't break away from the tackle applied by Stevens, and the umpire will bounce.
And Rodney Eade, he's got this classic manoeuvre where at just about every centre bounce, every throw-in or bounce near a boundary line, he gets one of his players to just sneak out the back, and McPherson for the Swans was alone in the centre of the ground. If the Swans had won that tap, they would have been away.
Beautifully taken by Tivendale. He escapes, provides the long one for Holland. This time he's got to beat 2. Shortwell got in good position, didn't take the mark. Wharf carries it away. Oh, they looked at each other, the Swans. Matthews in the end takes it over. Seen a bit of that today already. Players taking it over the line and out of bounds.
Well, incredibly, there was a line of 4 Sydney players that could have all received that handball.
So the Tigers just tightened the screws a little bit in the last few minutes of the quarter. If they could pinch another one here, they'd go into quarter time. Well, not quite back on level terms, but right back in the game. Daffy over the top. Altons just hurled it out. Campbell well wrapped up, and he also hurled it out. Bowden also finding it difficult to get loose hands. Oh, high tackle. It was unfortunate for Wayne Swass.
He was away, wasn't he?
Yep, but he did just come over the top a little high. Brett Allen letting him know how and why. He'll have to come back. Joel Bowden. And again, the Swans pushing all but one player in the defensive half of the ground. As Bowden goes along for Holland again. Stafford pushing back. Oh, it was almost. Hilton squeezes the kick, and it was as close as you could get.
Well, Fosdyke is coming from the ground, and Andrew Dunkley, in fact, it's Dale Lewis going on. Fosdyke is phenomenal full forward. They've elected in this last minute and a bit of this quarter just to throw Lewis forward to see if he can snag a goal.
Experienced campaigner Dale Lewis, and has given the Swans just what you are suggesting as a goal-kicking target.
And Swass going forward also. It's interesting that they've elected to start Andrew Dunkley on the bench.
So this kick from Armat all the way out in the Saddington-Bowden direction and over for a throw-in. 16 points is the advantage for Sydney. They got off to a terrific start.
Just had trouble getting a bit of run in the last 5 or 6 minutes, haven't they, the Swans?
5 out of the first 6 goals kicked by the Swans.
Man able to penetrate the from defensive at all their players back there.
Broderick trying to break away.
Just one in the eye there, Robbo.
Just trying. Well, he did in the finish, didn't he? And got the ball for Daffy. Daffy to full forward. The crumbs gathered very well by Wolf. Already acknowledged by Gerard Healy as doing a pretty good job on Matthew Rogers. And John Stevens, what did he do? Copped a whack in the eye from Paul Broderick.
Yep.
And maybe accidental. That ball is hard to get at, and they're all pretty desperate to try and help teammates in a slightly better position. Crouch, that's deliberate.
Well, the umpire couldn't play that. That's good.
What else did he try to do?
Because he just couldn't see it. Stevens coming off with a blood rule, but that umpire was clearly unsighted.
His eye's closed. His right eye is actually closed.
He's got the bad whack.
Just going back to that decision, Jared, whether it's right or wrong, let's just hope the umpires are consistent with that all day long.
Well, I mean, I just don't think he could have paid the decision, Ozzy, because I was watching him closely. He was behind 3 players, and he would not have been able to nominate one way or the other. Would have been a guess. I think he's probably erred on the right side there.
Zantuck came off the ground too for Richmond, replaced by Dragicevic.
Which I guess begs a question, Robbo, why boundary umpires couldn't pay deliberate, because they're the ones that would have the best view.
Good point.
So, still a chance for the Tigers in the last 25 seconds. Rogers, can he get it? The Swans will be desperate to get it over the line. Campbell desperate for the opposite. Matthews achieves the aim. And there's 17 seconds on the clock. Swans in defensive mode at the moment, despite the scoreboard. 5-2-32. Richmond 2-4-16. If you'd only been watching the last 10 minutes or so, you'd think it would be the other way around. Otten's trying to get over the top and give them one last chance. Was that a dropping the ball decision? No, Crouch. They're still trying very hard to get a shot, a kick out there, the Tigers. You would think time would beat them now. The clock counting down 4, 3, 2, and the siren sounds for quarter time. Swans in front, 5-2-32, but Richmond tightening as we got towards the first break. 2-4-16. Jared.
Well, I guess, Sato, after 10 or 15 minutes in the opening part of the quarter, we were treated to a spectacle. Both sides playing very attacking footy. The Swans doing it best as Matthew Knight's Blues with Brett Allen. But Arthur Beetson said to me 2 years ago that rugby league is getting far more like Aussie rules, and Aussie rules getting far more like rugby league. Well, on the basis of what we've seen in the final 15 minutes, I think he's spot on, because just about everybody is behind the football.
He must have copped an awful poke in the eye, John Stevens, because
yeah, it doesn't look well.
Well, the skin's not cut, but there was blood, so the blood must have come from behind the eye, maybe.
Take a break. Quarter time. It's the Swans 32 leading the Tigers 16. A more significant role to play as this match continues this afternoon. Second quarter from Colonial Stadium. Saturday afternoon footy from Melbourne around Australia, and it's the Swans by 16. Stafford, he went a couple of times. Knight's crunched, gets a free kick. Tigers push forward. Gale's playing at full forward at the moment. He makes one lead, Holland makes the other. It's to Holland. No, he goes shorter to Burke, who ran down, takes the mark. Dragicevic breaks to the pocket. Gale pushing to the square. Burke, not sure where to go. Kicked into space, tough one for Bowden. Saddington always had the ride, and he takes the mark. and all the Swans players are back. So he goes short, and Armat will have to wait until a few push down the ground to give it some options for himself. Maxfield still just outside defensive 50 as he goes for the switch of play. And it works okay with Worth.
It's got McPherson running hard for him.
Has to hit that target. Holland will try and get in the road. Did enough to just spoil. Now numbers with the Tigers. They worked it well. Campbell on the end of it. The escape from the Tigers. Pretty good. Campbell again just treading water. Waiting for an option. Dragicevic was the option. Couldn't quite take the mark. Chaffee over the top with a handball. Easy goal coming up for Rogers. And now the Tigers are right back in it.
Well, turnovers kill you with that one with Daniel McPherson. Just letting the ball sit behind him in a 2-on-1 situation cost him quite simply the goal. Here it is. Broderick was just filtering through there, and Campbell did well here. Instead of blazing away and blasting the ball into a contested area, he just waited until he thought he could spot someone. That someone was Dragicevic. He couldn't take it, but they had the numbers back down there.
So a good start for the second term to Richmond. After Sydney kicked 5 of the first 6 goals, the Tigers have kicked the last 2. Big gap between their first and second, but they get up to 3-4, trailing Sydney 5-2. From the centre bounce, Campbell and Schwass. Campbell was terrific with his experience in just holding the ball up until he could get a position where he could kick to the advantage of his team.
Seems like the ball hasn't been inside the Sydney's forward 50 for a bit, well, certainly the last 10 minutes of the second quarter, and yet to go in there this term.
Bounce, Lewis over the top, kick forward by Daffy, but only gets as far as Matthews. And Matthews to go to the far side of the ground. Position has been made by Saddington, looked to play on, may have been called to do so. Chaffee with the marker of the player there in Saddington. Eventually Kelly not able to control the football, finding it very difficult to get into this game, Paul Kelly.
Well, he's effectively playing as a full forward, pushed out to centre forward occasionally. He's had a bit of a run on the ball. David Burke is he's had more impact at the moment than the skipper of the Swans. This is the bloke that's keeping their Swans travelling well.
Getting rid of his opponent. Schwass from 50. Schwass, the high ball in towards full forward. Back there was O'Loughlin. Percentages played by Hilton, concedes a rush behind to the Swans.
He's had a disappointing day with the boot, Wayne Schwass, so far. Just missed a few targets. Tigers wasting no time to get it back into play. Cameron going out to Watt, didn't take it, and the ball out of bounds. So the Swans, yes, ball out of bounds. The Swans will be happy with that. 11 points the margin. Stevens ready to come back, but not quite yet.
Fosdyke off for Nix, but that was a great spoil by Adam Goods, who closed down on Ottens.
We saw Nix go up in the first 10 minutes or so. The umpire paying the free for interference. Well, it almost like he paid it once he saw Goods go to ground and not get up. He unloads to full forward. Nix just on the ground. Stafford involved. Kelly comes into the play this time. McPherson, who was great early. Good looking kick, just not quite back far enough. Numbers with Tigers. Bitterscombe takes the mark off free kick. And did it well too. Wants 50. Doesn't get it. Oh, dangerous pass. Really dangerous. They might get away with it. They might not. It's tight and tough in there. Trying to get it out, Nix. Wrapped up. Armat as well. And Crouch. And the umpire calls for a bounce.
Very good, Andrew Kellaway.
And is there a riskier place to go short, right in front of goals, 15 metres out?
Swans 5-3, Tigers 3-4. Swans would love a goal here against the trend in the last 10 or 15 minutes of play. Chaffee over the top, Swass trying hard, just trying to get it out to Armat. Knights is in there trying to hold it up. They are all appealing and calling for the proverbial cab, but the umpire deciding.
Just thought Matthew Knights was going to drag it in a little bit, and if he had, they would have been over him like bees around the proverbial honeypot.
Harrison onto the ground. Broderick off for Richmond.
Plenty of proverbials around at the moment, but here's Gaspar. Nothing proverbial about that. He takes it away.
There's
Campbell onto the wing. Gale couldn't take it. Shawbull comes through. The numbers with Chaffee and Richmond. Good support from Hilton, just putting the shepherd on. Holland from behind. Luff worried. He's worried about the height, but he did well. And well done too from Seymour to get it away. And now the Swans onto the wing through Creswell. Not sure where he was going.
He was looking for Kelly, but Kelly had 3 to beat.
And the hand pass off to Knights. Knights short, effectively to Chaffey. Chaffey's got Brendan Gale all on his own, and he takes the mark, looking to move it on. Does so. Daffy providing the running support. Good kick by Nick Daffy into the pocket, but punched away by the Swans defender in Wharf, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in. A lot of mention about ex-Fitzroy players playing in the AFL. There's another one, Rowan Wharf, doing a pretty good job for the Swans. Left forward pocket.
Empty goal square for Richmond.
Dragosevic just got his right foot to it. Swans under the hammer on their full back line. Maxfield, little kick, good spotting, wasn't it? Terrific spotting. Gave it to Crouch. Crouch goes to Schwass. Schwass out wide. Good kick too. Onto the chest of O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin moving beautifully.
Good
kicks it
running
into the
Lewis.
Pocket, and Lewis is marked away from Hilton. Started where?
Back pocket. He really did. Could have got on the end of the kick 3 or 4 times, but just kept motoring into the space where the leading player had come from. That is an incredible mistake, that one, from Adam Goods.
Well, it's more than an incredible mistake. Sacrilegious. It was just a simple mark, wasn't it?
He'd run a long way, and I think he was just exhausted by the time he got there.
Maybe it was too easy in the finish, and Adam Goods dropping that mark. Dale Lewis handing it off or kicking it off, and eventually the ball forced over for a throw-in about 65 metres around from the Swans' goal. Goods trying to make up for that slight indiscretion to Lewis. Lewis into the pocket. Kelly and Burke over the top. David Burke. Good fist on it. Forces a throw-in.
All of a sudden, it's a lot harder to see where the Swans are going to get goals from, isn't it? Well, they're attacking at the moment, and it's obviously the first step. The ball about 40 metres around. Creswell coming over the top. Hilton, well done. Little sidestep and shuffle. Cleared it away, but Squass, someone who can penetrate. This time he goes off the right, just making it through. Creswell.
Well, the Swans' last goal was at the 23-minute mark of the first quarter. Mickey O'Loughlin. They've got Stafford forward, and he may be one that could take a grab.
For Nix almost the pass that time. Cameron held him off. Loose ball out the back. Well, he kicked a brilliant goal last week. Sets this one up for Nix. Took a long time to get on his right boot, but when he did, he found the mark.
Yeah, well called, Rod. Hutto. It was well set up, but geez, I think Danny Frawley would have a bit to say about that at half-time.
Oh, but they just the ball just spilling and no one going after Robbie Armatt.
No dotting of the I's on this one, and coaches get infuriated when you just assume anything in football. Look at that running there. It wasn't all that flash. It was by an experienced player also in Leon Cameron, and unfortunately, bang, goes through the ball.
Vardy on the ground for the Tigers, going to full back.
Puts into the ruck.
Man up on Stafford. Cresswell, Schwass quickly onto his left. Only goes as far as Bowden. Bowden up towards half foot. Well done by Luff. Made that half volley. Forced it forward to a contest. Seymour underneath, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Now, he's in there very quickly, the umpire, and just having a quick chat to Stewie Maxfield, who may have been a little overzealous in his efforts to smother the ball. You can see the forward 50-metre arc, the forward end of the centre square, just about right between the two is where the bounce takes place. Gale gets it down. Daffy kicks it forward. Dragosevic provided a contest, forced it to the front of the goals. Still Dragosevic. Daffy, was that a little high? No, the umpire will bounce. Only a matter of 35 metres from the Richmond goal. Sydney 6-3, lead Richmond 3-4. Kelly leaves the ground. His place taken by Dunkley. Gee, there's ducks and drakes played, isn't there? Fosdyke was getting ready. Dunkley came from nowhere to take his place.
Swans have done that just about every time they've hit a chance.
McPherson set up there.
McPherson. And eventually Tivendale. Out wide Cameron. Cameron into the pocket. And a good mark close to the ground taken by Chaffey. 50 metres from goal. A fraction closer. The man on the mark is about 46, 45 metres, so it'll take a good kick. And again, maybe a little fortunate, but his efforts were meritorious in getting to the ball, clutching it onto his chest, and he's rewarded with a shot at goal. Lovely long kick all the way to the line, helped over in the finish by Schauble. Rush behind to the Tigers. 3-5 to 6-3 as Ben Holland and Troy Luff have a little to do. Wayne Schwass will bring it back into play for Sydney.
We saw Andrew Callaway on the bench a few minutes ago. It'll be interesting to see what the matter with him is, but the Swans... Oh, Ahmet, a couple of mistakes. The second one was the one that was really costly.
But I'll just chip in, it's pretty noisy ground. Andrew Callaway, as you mentioned, has come off. They're working feverishly on his lower back and left hamstring areas, so I'll keep you up to date, but it doesn't look too flash at this stage.
Yes, a real key player for them. He's going to drop short. Daffy, crouch up, made the spoil. Bitterscombe charging through. Didn't get through to kick it, but maybe it kept it alive at least. Daffy with the chance. Oh, he saw out of the corner of his eyes Wayne Campbell and Brendan Gale. Schauble got there and did remarkably well, and then let himself down with a scrubby old kick. He didn't have much to go to because all his teammates were further behind him, but he went again. O'Loughlin, brilliant start, Swans. Lewis towards the square. Lewis up the left. It was an ordinary looking kick, but it did the job.
They'll all go to Schauble. They'll all go to Schauble.
Have to. Brilliant performance. And
that is spine-tingling, isn't it?
It was a great piece of play by Schauble because he did the hard work and then he just put a mongrel kick onto it. Then he went again for the second effort and got a ball out to Dale Lewis, who I think actually Hutto may have meant to do this.
Yep.
It was an ordinary looking kick, but it was a beautiful kick, and as he intended. Got the result.
Well, one of the most untidiest, tidy players in the caper, Dale Lewis.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Tidy.
Knights goes for goal. Another mongrel kick. Bounce awkward. Dragicevic misses from point-blank range.
They are just off the boil at the moment, the Tigers, and they're going to have to quickly reassess between now and half-time, and then certainly after half-time come out, because their stars aren't starring and their other group of players just aren't providing the class around the ground to convert and kick goals in a hurry.
Well, for a side that's not playing very well, they only trail by 21 points, and the Swans, although controlling the match, Tigers still very much here. Rogers, after receiving from Knights, Maxfield marks the kick.
There's not a lot of thought going to that kick.
Fair enough. Maxfield, an ex-Tiger. Short, Seymour. Back to Maxfield. Looking to create a loose man, goes out wide. Marcus taken by Goods. Mercurial, isn't he, Adam Goods? Then kicks off his right, goes short. Wharf plays it pretty well, Rowan Wharf, to himself, and then kicks it in towards half forward. Taken by Crouch. He straightens up, kicks to half forward. O'Loughlin must be paid the mark. 2 goals already to Michael O'Loughlin in this match.
Pretty fair kick coming in from Jared Crouch. Mick O'Loughlin had to stand his ground and display the courage, and that he did, and he grabbed it with both arms.
Darren Gaspar just a little late. Knocked the ball away, but not before the umpire had awarded a mark to Michael O'Loughlin. He kicks it long and a little left through for Sydney's 4th behind. They're 7-4-46. They lead by 22 points. Richmond 3-6-24 as Fosdyke comes on for Maxfield.
Tigers away. Bowden had just 6 possessions onto the wing. Chaffey, good mark. Good use of the body over Fosdyke. And kicks off his right boot. Just gets his man. Tivendale quick to push and try and get onto his favourite left. Looking for Ruttons. In good position. Well done. Schauble again. Made the spoil. Matthews. Couple of teammates in support. Wharf's kick was a shocker, wasn't it? It was all Richmond back across half forward, and Wharf just blindly blazing away. Campbell's got Tivendale away to his left.
Good spotting,
and he did spot him too. He might run on here. He thought about it, then he did. Straightened up, and I think he's nailed it. Great kick, Greg Tivendale.
Well, great goal there for the Tigers, and that ups the ante a bit, doesn't it? The standard just starting to lift a bit as the tempo also goes up, but that was the best passage of play by the Tigers all afternoon.
When you mentioned that they were just looking a little jittery and they weren't running, and the effectiveness of the kick for Tivendale, you must pinpoint your teammate by hand or by foot, and they just did that on that occasion.
Yeah, spot on, and I thought Chaffey's mark perhaps the best of the afternoon today.
Well, that goal to Richmond brings the margin back to 16 points in favour of Sydney. And Rodney Eade barking instructions down to the interchange bench. Tigers will get clear once again. Campbell's kick at the feet of Ottens. He made it. Dragicevic. Ottens provided a contest to keep the ball alive. Still the Tigers. They're about to swoop on this too. It's Rory Hilton. He's not quite to the 50-metre line. Gives the hand pass away. Daffy off the left. Kicks the ball to the square. Up high Ottens. Couldn't take it. Kick off the ground's a goal. It's a goal to Matthew Rogers.
And a great goal it was, Robbo. Just rode the pack beautifully there. It was a big fly by Brad Ottens. He looked as if he was going to be all over it. But at ground level, it was Rogers. It looked as if a half a dozen players just stared at the football. Brad Seymour, he was just slightly off balance there, and the ball bounced the way he didn't expect. But the contest came from the big bloke. And finally, it was just socket over the goal line by Matthew Rogers.
Well, all of a sudden, the Tigers are suddenly full of running. A couple of goals can just change the feel of a whole match, can't it? In the middle.
Got the last one out of the middle very easily.
They did. And again, good work too. Chaffee on the end of it. Dragicevic just had a couple of touches in the last few minutes. Doesn't get the advantage of the whistle. Lewis uses the little giveaway releasing handball, but he missed his man in Fosdyke. And the Tigers have got numbers where they looked at each other then. Weren't sure who was going to take it. Harrison off the left. Kicks it up high to half forward. Ottens. Oh, he didn't pull it down. Did everything else but ducking the head. Nix had to handball it. Shouldn't have got a free.
No, you're spot on. Ducked his head.
Nix can kick it to Stevens, who's just on the ground, but he wasn't ready to get rid of it, instead going inboard and backwards. Armat would be the next target, or wider to left. They're no closer from where they started. They have got the link man now in Armat, who takes it and can run from half back. Hasn't got any support to let him go much further than this. Well, he's going to keep going. Now off the left, he kicked hurriedly in the end. It was a wobbly old one. Tough for Burke to mark it. Crouch kept it up. Stevens just bombs away. O'Loughlin in front, one-on-one with Gaspar. Good spoil, Gaspar right at the last second. Bowden handballing it back. Vardy has to go with Goods bearing down. Good tackle, Goods. Here comes Knights overrunning it. Cresswell more worried about Knights and just trying to provide the shepherd on Seymour. Somehow found a path through. He can't really set it up with a long bomb. Plenty of Tigers back, so he went short. And Armat, who's just had a couple of good touches in the last few minutes, takes the mark. Well, it's all because of this zone defence that both sides are employing, and the Tigers on this occasion, well, Stafford just blindly kicks it, tries to get it to O'Loughlin, but just didn't have enough on it. And Bitterscombe standing in front, able to relieve. Chaffee on the end of it will be Broderick. Tigers to the wing. Ottens is the target here. Shawble to spoil it. He surely got in the back. No, said the umpire. Shawble goes with a funny old handle. Made it tough for Paul Kelly. Somehow he took it. Around the boundary, Seymour gets Stevens. Could have gone short. Instead, he centres it. It'll give the Tigers a chance, but there's plenty of Swans players there. Saddington now, Stafford trying to get a space where they can shoot for goal. Right into a dead end, Saddington. Nowhere, go back. Did that. Luff, go for goal. Shoot from 40. Should convert and pokes it. Touched. Oh, can't believe he didn't make the distance. Neither can he.
Well, it's unbelievable. Right on the line. Pretty good passage of play from the Swans finally after they tried to give it back a couple of times.
In that circumstance, does the umpire believe that the player was going to ground before we saw that mark or free kick that could have been paid against Andrew Shawble? Obviously, the umpire feels that Brad Ottens was going to ground before he made contact. Biddiscombe has the football on centre wing for the Tigers. He kicks the ball to a 3-on-1, favouring the Swans. Seymour gathers and then goes back onto his left, able to kick with the right, which is his natural, to Lewis. Lewis still behind the wing. Maybe being called to play on now. He's got a player that he can deliver to, and that's Stafford. Stafford on centre wing. Swans 7-5, lead Richmond 5-6.
Oh.
Short kick. Bounces nicely for Harrison. Handball Burke. Burke looking, holding, still holding. Now to give it off in the direction of Rogers, and well done. Good negating work there by Rowan Wharf once again. Bit of an unsung hero in the eyes of maybe the football public, but certainly not as far as the Swans are concerned. He holds his place in this lineup for Sydney quite nicely. Rory Hilton taking his place on the interchange bench. Boundary throw in just forward of the wing, favouring the Tigers. Biddiscombe over the top. Luff to give away a little bit of ground. Back to Crouch. Fosdyke in support. Short kick. Mark taken by Saddington.
Got to be so precise when the quarters are so tight. It's just hard to find your man. Mark paid to Cameron there against Swass. Leon Cameron this afternoon. 4 kicks, 1 handball, 3 marks. Wayne Swass, 10 possessions and 4 marks. Tigers building through the middle. Oh, lovely work by Brendan Gale. The little look away. Long to Ottens, 2 to beat. Couldn't do so. No holding to the umpire. Seymour it is, who's had a bit of it in the last few minutes. Bombing it out wide to Goods. Armat leading onto the wing, or he could go shorter. He does go shorter. Stevens just couldn't claim the mark. Running with Campbell, the ball out of bounds. So the Swans leading by 11. A couple of injury worries for the Tigers. One of them is Andrew Callaway. 7-5 to 5-6. You can see 4.5 minutes remaining in this quarter. Stafford, Broderick again coming through, ranging handball, made it tough for Bowden, who's a left footer, but he got it to Knights. Knights can go low, just couldn't find Ottens on the lead. Luff just banging it onto the boot. You can see the result of that. Biddiscombe looks up. He doesn't see much on offer either, but he went short. Great kick. Fantastic vision. And that is why Danny Frawley is such a huge fan of Craig Biddiscombe.
Well, I think he almost guided Matt Rogers into the space. He was looking towards the goal and he just poked the ball to the area where there was a bit of open air space, and Rogers was good enough to get him there.
Well, Rogers has already proven that he can kick goals. 2 goals won this afternoon. It's a funny looking kick, but it has done the job. 3 for Rogers. He's kicked 37 goals for the year, and he has played 16 matches, so he's averaging more than 2 a game.
4 goals to 2 so far in this term for the Tigers, and Rogers has kicked a couple of those goals. Sydney now lead by 5. They led by 16 at quarter time. John Stevens with blood maybe weeping from that eye.
Yeah, he'll have to come off, Robbo, but there's only 3 players, or 3 pairs of players in the Swans forward line and 7 in the Tigers forward line.
Well, that poke in the eye from Paul Broderick causing some concerns for John Stevens, coming from the ground once again. And he will be replaced by Stuart Maxfield as Mark Thompson. And interested onlooker, his Cats up against the Demons tomorrow, up against the Swans next week. Armat goes to the bench, and the big fellow, Stephen Doyle, comes onto the ground for the Swans.
And big raps on this young kid, Robbo.
He's a big boy.
He's a big lump of a lad.
Stafford gets his hands to the ball. Kelly, Maxfield over the top. Broderick in there for Richmond. Umpire quickly onto the scene and will bounce. Just doesn't look as though there's any skin broken for John Stevens, and you wonder where that blood's coming from. Gee, we'll watch that interestingly, as the game progresses, because you need the 22 players to be able to swap and change from the bench. Cameron, short kick, chipping in, good strong play. Seymour can go across to Nix. If he covers the distance, Nix should be able to mark. He does. Brendan Gale in a bit of strife, that elbow causing him. Oh, great mark! Oh, that is just sensational by Harrison.
Well, Gale coming off of that elbow injury once again, but that was what victories are based on.
Staying out there for the moment, Gale, because he has to come into the play here. If Cameron wasn't sure whether to kick to him or not. In the end, he goes for the second option, Holland. Holland takes the mark. Gale still staying out there. With one arm, he's leaning onto the wing.
The Swans have got Doyle on Burke. Not sure that he's got the mobility to go with Burke.
Well, a bit haphazard that, but it got them out of trouble. Kelly and now Maxfield. Little dappy kick into the middle. Stafford. Oh, missed the target with the handball. Made it tough. Matthews keeping it up. Now Kelly going low and pretty well in the end to Nix, who's probably maybe just out of scoring range. O'Loughlin wants it quickly down into the square.
Well, he's good enough kick to take the responsibility himself here. Swans actually are almost desperate for a goal. They still lead, but Richmond have had all the momentum since quarter time. There's been nothing convincing about the Swans this quarter.
No, Matthew Nix, 4 kicks and 2 marks this afternoon. Spent a lot of time on the bench already after an injury in the first 10 minutes of the game. Kick from just outside 50, sets it up well. It's good as far as accuracy, but it's short on distance. Doyle got hands to it. Tigers conceding a behind. And in the end, it did prove to be just a little bit too far out for Matthew Nix. 1 goal the difference. Gale staying out. Let's have a look what happened. Stuck the arm out.
Wrenched it for
yeah.
sure.
So Richmond get the ball in towards Holland.
Good ball
Ball handling skills of Michael O'Loughlin. Got under the kick a bit.
What was that?
Didn't cover the required distance, I wouldn't have thought. The umpire has decided it did. And the mark has been paid to Joel Bowden.
Brendan Gale. That one, Robber. 40 up and 40 down.
But Bowden ignores Gale and comes down towards the wing. Punched away by Seymour, but beautifully gathered by Campbell to Tivendale. Tivendale to assess and then kick in the direction of Ottens. Couldn't take the mark. Well played, Schauble again. Isn't he playing with some confidence? Away to Crouch. Crouch into the middle. Brendan Gale. Will it bounce kindly for him? Still trying to make an effort to gather the ball, but Goods is there for the Swans. Goods, handball away, Nix. Can he get past? He's got a player in support. That player is Luff. Luff goes short, and the Swans will get a chance to kick a goal just before half-time through Stephen Doyle.
And take a bow, Adam Goods there. It was 1 against 3. Looked like Brendan Gale was going to absolutely swallow it, but he just made the contest and followed up and got the ball out in the clear.
Doyle, only been on the ground for about 3 or 4 minutes, can post the Swans' 8th goal. And a very average kick through the air. Didn't get onto that at all. Scores are behind. So at half-time, the long break here at Colonial Stadium. 7 points is the margin in favour of Sydney. The Swans 7-7-49, Richmond 6-6-42. For Sydney, Michael O'Loughlin has kicked 2 goals, and for Richmond, Matthew Rogers has kicked 3.